And but this is also in terms of loyalty being a one-way street. When President Clinton was on his way out, he pardoned a few literal terrorists, Puerto
Yeah.
Rican terrorists. I think I forgot the organization called FALN, maybe something like that. Andrew Cuomo, when he was just kicked out of office, he pardoned a literal terrorist, one of the weathermen.
Right.
Trump, on his way out, pardoned very few people. There were so many people who stuck their necks out for him, and he just sat on his hands and didn't reciprocate. That's number one. The other point I made with Glenn Beck is, how is he going to bring, and this I said explicitly, I go, this is not his fault. How is he going to bring in any outsider? If I'm like a big shot CEO, if I'm some, whiz kid, having that on my resume is going to ruin my career.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that's his fault at all, but why would I stick my neck out for this guy if as soon as I leave, I'm going to be called a putz and a loser. Yeah. And then if I try to look for another job, I'm going to be tainted for the rest of my life. How is he going to have that pool, which normally a president would have the binders full of resumes?
Yeah, and this is yeah, so like my guy.
Yeah.
But this is also a big problem, whether or not it is his fault. And the truth is, it's probably his fault to some degree. But you also have to recognize, like, just the reality of the situation. If the guy you're supporting, is going to create the most hysterical reaction in opposition to him, that is a real threat to the safety and security of the country, then okay, I'm not saying that on its own proves you can't go with that guy, but what's your plan to deal with that?
Right.
Because if you have no plan to deal with that, and your plan is like, well, we'll bitch about it on Twitter till we get kicked off, it's like, that's not a very good plan. Like, what's the plan? And so if you're just going to do that because I enjoy driving all of them crazy, it's like, all right, well, that's not a serious adult strategy. Well, and that's just like, Donald Trump is like, they stole the election from me. And it's like, well, what's your plan? And he's like, well, I'm going to bitch about it for a few months and then leave. It's like, well, that's not much of a plan. So do you have anything? That was, if you remember that call to the Secretary of State of Georgia that got leaked, and they were all like, oh, this is so fucked up, he's trying to pressure. I thought the most amazing thing about that call was that you just see how Trump had no plan. Right. Had no plan. And he's just got on the phone with him. He's like, well, we won. We definitely won. And the guy's like, yeah, I'm not really seeing that anywhere. And he's like, well, that's what it is. So I need you to go find out why it is that we won and how it is that, and the guy's like, what? I don't know. What do you want me to do here? Like, there's no evidence.
And the one promise that Trump broke that I think is unforgivable is that he was going to beat Joe Biden. Now, you can argue with a straight face, and indisputably, it wasn't Joe Biden at all. There was a huge, organization and organizational support that pushed his carcass over the finish line.
No question.
It's like, why? Wait, you're saying there's going to be less of this in 2024, and you have the power of the White House before you?